So yes guys, welcome back to the channel, and today is going to be a little bit longer. So if you are someone who just want to get a quick specifications and know whether this camera is actually good in today's standard, I will actually say a yes and maybe a no. That's why you need to stick through the video to know what my full opinion is about with regards to the Nikon D7200. Without wasting my time, let's just head straight into the introduction. So yes guys, welcome back, and I just got my hands on the Nikon camera, and there is something that actually amazed me and actually got my attention with regards to the release of Nikon cameras. I mean, you guys do know that over the past I've got my hands on several of the Nikon cameras, all the way from the 5000 series to 7000 series. I mean, I've actually done my hands through it. So recently I actually reviewed the Nikon D7000, yeah. And getting my hands on the D7200, it actually feels the same. So I think that is actually something that happens to pull my attention when I got my hands on the D7200. The camera is actually the same. It's actually the same as the D7000, but there are a few similarities and a few changes and minor differences with regards to the two, yeah. So I'm getting straight into the specifications. The Nikon D7200 is a camera that was released in 2015. Yeah, I think it's about 8 years now, 7-8 years now. Actually, it's been a while, but I mean, these days who even cares about the releases of cameras? I mean, as long as it does the job and you can afford it, why not go for it? Whether it was released in, I mean, people even still use 90s cameras. Yeah, I've seen a whole lot of creators that are still shooting on film. Yeah, they do the job, trust me. So yeah, the Nikon D7200 got a 24 megapixel camera, I mean sensor, yeah. So it does shoot photos and it does shoot videos as well. And when it comes to the photography side, I would say that I was quite impressed with the type of images that the camera does produce, yeah. Or is it provide? Produce. So yeah, the camera does shoot 24, well, it's 24.2, but I don't think we still regard the 2 megapixel in addition to the 24. So let's just run it off to 24. The camera shoots decent photos. I got my hands on it in the studio, and trust me, I was very much impressed. I mean, I've used the Nikon D7000, and the quality that actually comes from the D7000, I don't think it's anywhere closer to the D7200. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's because of the lens that I was using with the D7200. Because in my shoot, I was using the 50mm f1.8, and it was very clean, trust me. It does the job. It does provide amazing sharpness and quality. Well, this camera is purposely for passport photography, so yeah, we do tend to zoom in into images and people's faces, and it's really amazing when you do that. So yeah, the camera does have 2 SD card slots, and that is something that really impressed me. I mean, I think with the Nikon cameras, they've been doing this for quite some time now. Even with the D7000, they had a geo slot. So I think this is some implementation on the 7000 series, and I kind of like that, because I mean, this is something that Canon is starting to provide to us in today's standard. Looking at the Canon R7, it's something new. Well, it's been there, but they don't really provide that to the consumers, unless if you are paying for the high-end cinema world. Yeah, so it pretty much feels good in the hands. But I would say that if ever you want to get the camera, maybe you should also consider getting a battery grip, because with the battery grip, it feels very much amazing. It actually feels like the 1DX, yeah, or the R3. Yeah, it feels very good when you have a battery grip on it. But when you take the battery grip off, it's actually normal, yeah. So yeah, with regards to the build quality, it is an amazing body. All right, I think it's water sealed. I'm not sure about that. I just need to double check, but it's built very well, and I think it will survive a longer duration. I don't know why I'm being distracted today with cars, and I'm sorry guys. It's part of the job. So yeah, the camera does an amazing job, and I think it will survive, I mean, tough conditions, weather conditions. So if you're someone that wants to get your hands on this particular camera, if you're a landscape photographer, portrait photographer, I think this camera will do an amazing job. So let's just put the photography aspect aside and deal with the video side, because that is where I'm mostly at. So with regards to the video capabilities, it does full HD all the way from 60 to 25. So yeah, you do get some amazing slow-mo with this particular camera, which the D7000 does not have. But there's a problem. When you go down to 60 frames at full HD, you do get a massive crop. Okay, so the camera is already a crop sensor, which is 1.6 times crop. And when you go down to full HD 60 frames, you still get another 1.3 crop. I stand to be corrected. So that is something that you always need to bear or have in mind, because it is a problem. Yeah, you're going to get a massive zoom in. Yeah, sucks. Why do people even give us a crop sensor camera and still cropping in a... Oh man, we're going through a lot. Yeah. Well, I think I might actually get my hands on this camera in the nearby future as a B cam. But I think before I do, maybe I will try the D7500 to see how it also does. Because, I mean, there's no harm in trying new cameras, right? I mean, that's not new, but... So the camera is in, I mean, amazing condition, and you do get, like I said, full HD 60 frames, which a lot of cameras in 2015 hardly, I doubt, but Nikon gave us that, and it's quite awesome. I mean, if you're a wedding photographer, a wedding videographer, I think this camera might serve you very well, especially for the fact that it does have 2 slots of memory card and 60 frames for slow-mo. Not the best slow-mo, but at least you do get a chance, you know what I mean. But there's a downside. Before you maybe try to click on the purchase button, maybe you should think twice, because there is a bit of a downside, which the camera does not have any flip-up LCD. So here, on this particular camera, I can see what is happening. I do have a monitor there. I can see. I mean, I don't know what is happening. Well, it's a bit far, but I don't know that there's a box on my face, and if I do this, it will focus on my hands, maybe, or if chances are maybe it's missed. Yeah, but with the D7200, or why such a long name, man? I mean, these guys are confusing us. So with this, the Nikon D7200. Oh man, with the Nikon D7200, yeah, I think 7200 will be much better. You do not see yourself. The screen is built into the camera body, so if you want to shoot this type of videos, it might be a bit of a problem, unless you have an external monitor, and that is going to cost you an additional money. So if you are actually planning to get your hands on this camera for this type of videos, maybe I would suggest you look in other direction. I mean, there are better ones. Anyway, yeah, so if you want to get your hands on it, maybe you can look in other directions. I'm not saying go for Canon. All I'm saying is look for other ones with a flip-up screen. That might do a better job than the Nikon D7200. I think, yeah, that's the most disadvantage about this camera. And another thing that I noticed when I got my hands on the camera, it actually hurts me a bit. I mean, I have had a couple of Nikon cameras, like I said, and the button placement were quite amazing. But with the D7200 or 7200, it was a bit of a problem to navigate through the buttons. Another thing that I noticed, it does not even have a scroll wheel. I tried looking for that and I didn't see it. I don't know, but guys, how do you flip through photos, I mean multiple photos in a short duration? How do you... There is none. I didn't see any scroll wheel. I mean, most of the cameras do have them, but I didn't see it there. Even the Nikon D7000 does have it. I don't know why they didn't put it there. I mean, the buttons are quite, let me say, unique, because it's not as the previous cameras. It's quite funny, somehow complicated, and yeah. But I mean, if you want to get your hands on the camera, maybe a week or two might help you navigate better. You might, I mean, get to understand all the necessary buttons, and you can still customize most, let me not say most, some of the buttons. So that is quite an amazing, I mean, features to own. The camera does have many ports, which I love. I mean, it's almost like this camera has a lot to offer than the disadvantages. Yeah, so it does have a microphone jack, it does have a headphone jack, and it also has an HDMI port. It does have a couple of ports here and there. It's very nice, and the placement of these ports are quite amazing. I mean, it's actually positioned nicely. I mean, this camera feels like that curvy X that you can never ignore. Yeah. If you are someone that you want to get your hands on this particular camera, I would say you must first know what your needs are. If you're a portrait photographer, perfect. 24 megapixel, amazing details. Yeah. If you're a studio photographer, outdoor, I mean, anything photography, I think this camera will much do the job. But if you're a high-end sports photographer, maybe I'll ask you to think twice. It can do the job, but yeah, maybe you might have to do a bit of research and see how it goes. If you're a videographer, I would say a YouTube videographer, that's a no-no. Yeah, unless you are someone that is always behind the camera, or you have a crew or someone willing to monitor the footages from behind, and you are sitting here doing the talking, that might help. But if you are someone like me who do not have any person behind, then I think that will be a problem, because at the end of the day, you might end up being out of like that. You might end up being in this position with nothing in the background and out of focus without. That will suck, trust me. So yeah, the camera does an amazing job. I pretty much love it. This is a camera that I think I wouldn't mind having it in my kit as a main photographic camera. Yeah, and sometimes a videographic camera, not main videographic camera, maybe a B videographic camera, but yeah. It does the job, and it's pretty much feels good with the battery grip attached to it. So yeah, that is my overall thoughts about this particular camera. If you're someone that wants to get it in today's standard, it's a yes, you can go for it. It is an amazing camera, as long as you know the advantages and the disadvantages. And another thing that I would like to add before we finish up will have to be the autofocus performance. It does great, especially if you have a fast lens attached to it. It does an amazing job with tracking, focusing, perfect, especially with the 50mm. I pretty much love it. Yeah. But if you are someone that is using the normal kit lens 1855 with those funny autofocus noise, you might end up experiencing some problems. But overall, the autofocus does work. It does the job, especially it's being a 2015 camera. I'm pretty much impressed, and yeah, thank you for watching, guys. If you have any questions based on the Nikon D7200, Nikon D7200, yeah drop it in the comment section. I'm more than willing to answer your questions. If you are new on the channel, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Subscribe to see more, and yeah, I'm your host, Director Vim, and I guess I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.